Every time that you nurture disappointment about what didn't work out, you are making a decision about who your future self gets to be. And disappointment is very, very good at convincing your future self. It convinces her that she does not get to exist. All right, you saw the intro, so you know today we are talking about disappointment. But first, I'd like to welcome you back, or welcome. On this channel, we talk about how in life, it's not only me and it's not only you, but life's ups and downs are universal. So today, like I mentioned, we are talking about disappointment. And I want to start off by saying that disappointment is identity theft. That's what it's doing. It is stealing your identity. Okay, when you are nurturing disappointment, you might think that you're just processing one significant thing that didn't work out. But why I called it an identity thief is because you are unintentionally building a case for why you are someone who things don't work out for. And that's different than this one instance didn't work out. You now are associating yourself with being someone that things do not work out for. And that's dangerous. So now what was one disappointment, it now becomes the full story of disappointment that you tell yourself. It's the story that you tell yourself about things not working out for you. And now, you know, people mention it, you've built a case for why things don't work out for you. Not one instance, you've built an entire case, and you are the judge and the jury, and you're repeating this instance becomes the narrative. It becomes fact for you. And now your future self, the version that you are trying to become, check out the Becoming series that I have on this channel if you have not already. But the future self that you're trying to become, they've already been prescribed a story or an identity that they had no part in building or shaping. That's just now part of who they are, or who she is. All right, so I want to walk you through some examples of how we can allow disappointment to steal our identity every day. So take a look at your career, right? Whatever that may be, however you generate income. And you maybe are in meetings, or you have some sort of communication with people, or maybe superiors or peers. And maybe the last couple times that you tried to speak up or share something or provide some insight, maybe someone spoke over you, or maybe it didn't go over well. Maybe people dismissed it. So now that is a form of disappointment for you. And you could say, nobody ever listens to me, or they never listen to me here at this company or in these meetings. Nobody values my opinion. That might be the narrative that you are now telling yourself. And so you might change your perception of yourself over time as someone that people don't listen to. And maybe even someone that doesn't have much to add, you know, in a meeting or whatever. But now this is how you are beginning to speak of yourself. And unintentionally, this is the identity that you are taking on, and you are losing the identity of yourself that you previously had. Bit by bit, it's going away, and you are replacing it with a lesser than identity, unfortunately. And I should mention that you very well could, you know, maybe not have an immense amount of confidence or a certain identity that would associate oneself with being a trusted source, or people value what I have to say, or people love to listen to me. You might just be maintaining a mediocre identity, unfortunately, and not building yourself up with, you know, some of this self-talk or some of these thoughts that you could have based upon various situations of disappointment. And now you created a narrative that maintains a certain level of identity when your goal is to ascend. Your goal is to grow. So it's not just about deteriorating a high placement that you might have identity wise, but you can also be stunting yourself or making yourself stagnant with the current identity that you have as well. Now, in terms of relationship disappointment, that can look like maybe a relationship has ended and you make the thought that you're someone who picks wrong, or you are someone who love doesn't work out for you. You can say these things based upon real experiences of disappointment or hurt, but you don't realize that you are shaping your identity. So now when someone new might show you some interest, you could sabotage that right off the gate, right away with, okay, well, this love it don't really work out for me, or the last one didn't really work out for me. Whatever your past experience or your most recent experience was, you can now allow that to cover up possibilities, because you've overridden the optimism that you should have with pessimism because of a disappointment. And now, unfortunately, what we expect and what we focus on is sometimes what we get. So that's why I want to caution you about the danger of disappointment, and how we can daily feed into that disappointment and allow it to steal our identity of right now, as well as our future identity, one that we are working towards, glowing towards, growing towards, aspiring for. We can be robbed of that as well. Even in a creative aspect, right? You might share something that you built, that you created, that is your baby. You crafted this project or whatever, and it didn't go how you wanted to go. It didn't land how you thought it would land. And so you can simply make a thought of, well, I'm not talented enough. I'm not as talented as I'd like to be, or I'm not as talented as I thought I was. Or you might just make the blanket statement that people don't understand you. People don't understand what I'm trying to create or what I have created. Nobody gets me. And that disappointment now can look like, I'm going to stop creating things. I'm going to stop sharing my creations with people. I'm going to stop my artistry. I'm going to stop my music. I'm going to stop my dance. I'm going to stop my whatever it is that you put out and you would share with people or have shared with people. You're going to stop doing that. And you are stealing your identity just from a few disappointments. I've seen this on social media as well. I mean, not very, very detailed, but you can see sometimes people will post, especially those that are trying to become mothers, right? They might post another unsuccessful attempt, right? If their cycle comes back that month or the following month, then it's a disappointment. And I'm sure people are sharing it just to be relatable, and they want to, share that, share what they're working on, maybe to put it out there, hoping that it will, work out. But that you have to be cautious of that, because that repeated disappointment, it can set in where you're, another month that this didn't work, or maybe I'm someone who struggles with fertility, and now your identity is one of someone who can never become a mom, or whatever. So you just want to be very careful about the statements that you make. And even to the things that you share. I understand creating community and wanting to relate to people, also have empathy, receive empathy and things like that. So it's just one of those things that you just want to be very mindful of, because if you're building content around sharing a disappointment, I can see the benefit of you putting yourself out there to relate to people, and to share the other side of things. I can understand that. I can appreciate that. I would just, want you to not paint a narrative around that. So as long as you're able to share it and have the right mindset, the right perspective, then I'm all for it. I think it's really good. All right, so I'm going to run through the tips on how to get past this the talking point number 1, the disappointment being the identity thief. So you can separate that one event or that event from the identity. And one of the things that I've done as well is you can say it out loud, you can say it in your head, but you should say, that didn't work out. that does not mean I'm someone it doesn't work out for. That means that specific thing in the specific timing and those specific circumstances did not work. Okay? You let yourself drill it down to that particular instance is what did not work. Not you're someone that things don't work out for. Next, actively rewrite it. We will replay our disappointments. We do that all the time. But what is helpful is stating that you are someone that tries again. You are becoming someone that tries again. My future self is someone that tries again. I identify as someone that tries again. I am someone that does not give up. This is a decision that's in your control. So you can make these statements. You can state these things to yourself. So that way you have something to combat the replays. The next one, look for the counter evidence. So if you can find one time when somebody overlooked you in the meeting, 1 month the cycle came, one relationship didn't work. Also, what I want you to do is I want you to look for one that did work, because that automatically nullifies or destroys your stance on always, every time, never. You can automatically negate those blanket statements that you might say about yourself. You can automatically wipe those away. They're not relevant. You disprove them. You refuted it. Doesn't apply. It doesn't get to live here. All right. Next, disappointment as a preemptive surrender. You can have disappointment be a preemptive surrender. And you don't want to do this because you are basically giving up or quitting before you can even get going. So the preemptive surrender is you quitting on yourself before the next opportunity has a chance to disappoint you. So you're being proactive on remaining or regressing. And you might think that it's a dangerous line where you're trying to protect yourself, but you are also limiting yourself from possibilities. It's dangerous. It's unfortunate, but this is not something that you want to surrender to. Disappointment is not something that you want to surrender to. And what this looks like is you're saying, well, that didn't work out. So why would I even bother trying now? That didn't work out yesterday, so why would I try today? The last time I had a relationship, it didn't work out. The last time I spoke up in the meeting, it didn't work out. The last time I tried to give so-and-so advice, they disregarded it. You do want to know when you should impart something to someone and when you shouldn't, because there are times when people genuinely do not want your feedback. They don't want your input. They just want you to listen. And you just have to know the difference between those instances. Look for sincerity. Look for genuineness. Are you really talking with me about this because you value how I would execute this, or do you just need to get this off your chest? Because I can save my breath. Which one is it? And not asking in that manner, but just knowing when is my input valuable and when do I need to reserve it. That can also curb disappointment as well, because sometimes we're disappointed because of our expectations that were not realistic or relevant. So increasing our wisdom to discern when I need to do something and when I should not do something, because that also can drive your level of disappointment down or up. And that's a you decision. You can decide, where do I allow something to hold weight and where do I need to observe and understand this is a light interaction. I don't need to give it a high measure of my time or my effort. So having the ability to discern that can also help you with your disappointment or lack thereof in situations. And that can just overall help you as well. But the key thing here is we don't want the disappointment to steal anything from us. So here are some examples of how you can have a preemptive surrender or giving up in advance because of one disappointment or a couple of disappointments in an area. So let's say there's a business idea and you had it a few years ago and you didn't launch it. Now you have a better idea, you got more resources, you have more knowledge, but you cannot or do not start it because you are still holding on to the disappointment of the first attempt. It keeps coming back to the, oh, remember that you didn't do it and it didn't work out, or you didn't feel confident doing it and why even try now? But what you don't realize is that you are a different person now, and that idea, that business, whatever it is, if you have grown and you still don't do it, you are keeping yourself small. And you're not making a distinction between attempt 1 and attempt 2 and all that has taken place in that dash or in that space in between. So you're robbing yourself. The next one, maybe you want to get some sort of training, maybe you want to go to school, something, and you remember that you took a class one time and you didn't finish it. Maybe you paid for it, maybe you felt like you lost the money because you didn't finish it, you didn't do the certification, and it expired, your access expired, you can't do the training, whatever. So now when the situation comes up again and you tell yourself, well, I did try that one class, or I did try that one certification, and I didn't finish it. It didn't really work out for me. So now, obviously, higher education or learning or advancement is not for you. You just bow out preemptively. You surrender to the first attempt, and that's now the go forward, the path forward for you. You are someone that doesn't get training, you don't get certified, you don't get education, you don't do that because you did it a couple times, you did it one time, it didn't work out. That's not the life for you. That's the decision that you're making. So another way you can allow disappointment to make you preemptively surrender could be, again, with relationships. So you got hurt, and now what you decided is you're not going to open up, and you are not going to form those connections or those relationships anymore. And you view it as protecting yourself or setting a boundary. Why would you even bother? Because people are just going to hurt you anyways. Why are you going to even try to be in a relationship? Why are you going to even entertain being in a relationship? Because you know you're just going to get hurt. So somebody speaks to you or dresses you or tries to open the door for maybe some sort of a connection, and you nip that in the bud. Not happening with you. You've tried that, been there, done that, like they say. But your future self or whomever you're becoming is someone that understands and appreciates healthy partnership. And unfortunately, you are forcing her to remain closed off and alone in any aspect, friendship, relationship, whatever. She's going to be alone, and you've decided that for her. Next, fitness, health and fitness. You tried that diet. You did those 7 days or 3 days. You did the cleanse or whatever. Maybe you did a whole month. Maybe you've done more than that, and you didn't see the results you wanted to. So now you're someone that it's hard for you to lose weight. It's hard for you to tone. You're someone who can't tone. You're someone who can't lose weight. You're just someone who those things don't work for you. It doesn't work for you, and you don't want to do it anymore because it's a waste of time. I've heard people say this, I'm just not a fitness person, I'm just not a gym person, and it's like, oh, okay, well, preemptive surrender. You are denying your future self, someone that could have more energy, someone that could have more strength, someone who can really be exuding vitality. More so than you already are, because I'm sure you have some vitality and some energy and some strength, but you could have more. Don't you want more? No, you don't, because you're going to preemptively surrender to you not being able to have a fit body, a healthy body, more energy, being stronger. You are content with some association with sedentariness, and that's where you're fine. You surrendered because of maybe 2 past attempts, 3 past attempts, that one diet that everybody was doing, and you didn't see the results that some people saw, regardless of the fact that some people have different weights and different situations when they start things. And what you don't realize is even though they might have lost some weight quickly, they're going to plateau. So everybody has to pivot at different stages of a health or a fitness journey, but you let that stop you and you didn't want to pivot. Preemptive surrender. All right, so now going into the solutions or the resolutions. Recognize surrender when you feel it. If you feel why bother or it won't work anyways, just know that that's the preemptive surrender and it's not the truth. Once you can identify that, then you can say to yourself, I'm about to make a decision for my future self right now. Am I really ready to make that type of decision where I say I can't do that or that doesn't work for me? Am I really ready to make the decision right now? Evaluate that. Next, you want to separate those attempts. Understand that the attempts taught you something and that the prior attempt is different from the attempt that you're going to make now because you're not the same person. Reiterate that those circumstances are not the same. So, based upon what I know now versus what I knew then, do I feel like I would have a higher success rate? Allow yourself to intellectually decide how to go forward. And the last tip is take one small action as an act of faith. One small action. You don't have to commit to the whole fitness journey, but commit to one small action. Prove yourself your past attempt wrong. Make it irrelevant. And just know you're not guaranteed success, but you are telling yourself that I believe you now and you in the future, I believe you deserve another chance. Tell that to yourself, and that will allow you to break that action or that thought of preemptive surrender. So I hope this video was really helpful. I didn't want it to be too long, but I did want to just call out the power that disappointment can have and how you can get ahead of it. If you have not already, please subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you, all of us, myself included, as well as those that have subscribed already. And check the description box. I sometimes put the book that I'm reading down there. So take a look at that, as well as give this video a thumbs up. I love to read your comments. We will be doing more comment shout outs, so please leave a comment down below. And I love you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video, sunshine. Okay, bye. Go have a great day. Don't be disappointed. Have a great day. Bye.